Hi there. In this video, I want to outline some work that I'm doing using Ctrlr, a synthesizer panel editor, to visualize what's happening inside the Kawai K1 multis. If you're here to listen to sound demos and sound output, please tune away now. I'll save you some time because I won't actually be doing that. If you are here because you're interested in multis, great. Um, let's not worry about an introduction of how the K1 works, as hopefully you already know that. But what I'm visualizing on the panel is the 32 presets, 32 slots rather, available for the multi, which are numbered from 64 to 95 in the sysex. And at this level here, you see the rendering of the data coming from an individual multi. So at the moment, I'm connected to the synth in real time, and I can either push panels on the front of the synth and then it will receive data in, or I can select it. I'm not a graphic artist. I'm pretty colorblind. These colors work for me. Your mileage may vary. And the main thing is just to visualize what's happening inside. And although you can move parameters here, they won't actually be sustained in the edit yet. I think I'll work on that later. So what did you have to do? Let me just bring this up and wait a second. The um, sysex documentation tells you about the sort of waveforms that are available for singles and what have you. So these synthesizers are relatively dated by modern standards. The basic wave group here, sine saw, you can get some good analog synthesizer sounds out of these, detuning and what have you, but you have no filters on this basic unit. Um, the pool bass was really quite nice and still stands up even today for an 8-bit sample. That's about it. And I'll now move to this section and I'll just give it a chance for the software to catch up. One of the things is that the sysex documentation is really poor, which was the standard of the day. And it here makes it look as if you get the complete section of a multi followed by the next section. This is just not true. What you get is 8 single numbers, so 8 bytes that where you can get the IA and the number out. Then you get 8 low zones, 8 high zones, 8 polyzones, and the rest of it. So that's just something to be aware of. So the editor, as I say, the way I visualize it is that you can request the sysex dump bulk from the K1i, K1R, and it will update the presets. Well, how do you know what you're looking at? Well, if I click on, for example, this one here, it should change color, and now it's updated the panel to show you what the mix of the individual 8 singles are. It's not a bug, but I need to work on this. The display in Ctrlr for LCD is always upper cases. You can't put a small or little I on it. So I'm going to work on how I can render that. You also can't render minuses for some reason. I don't know why. So you see here, everything's on channel 1. It's all in this mix mode. And if you click, you can move up to keyboard or down to MIDI, I think it is. So you can use your middle mouse or move up and down. Um, You've got this velocity which goes from all loud soft for some reason. I might need to make that font smaller. Um, this one who has the voices remaining, and then here they're all zero. So this effectively means that these are muted. There are no voices available, and you can't show a minus, like I said. So I can't show C minus 2, so I render it as 2C, and you've got the chance to set this to whatever you like, right up to the high Gs. I stole some buttons from a Novation panel, so you can either set them with a drag and drop, or there's some criticism of this. Just put in a number, minus 24, and that's the way I prefer to do it. Um, and then you have the levels you can set individually, the channel, whether it's on the right, the left, or the mix. So I might need to work on making that slightly more smaller font. Um, and the output level, so you could set that to, say, I don't know, 79, or you can move it up and down. But what's important is that this is not affecting the synthesizer in any way. There is no way to send these parameters directly back in real time, unlike the singles, the individual singles where you can do that. What does this mean? It means what I'm likely having to do is to allow individuals to modify this setting, and then maybe I need to find a way to tell it that you want to dump it to a certain preset, generate the sysex and send it back to the unit. And then you can click this button here and that should run through an update. And you see what it did was it went through this list very, very quickly, and then it got to the last one as ID who's fat. So it demonstrates that this is the real-time data coming from the Kawai on what that looks like. So at the very least, it is useful, I think, because otherwise you have a lot of button pressing to go through and to determine what state the thing is in. How I think I might use this in the future, um, I said that you have these saw waves and basic waveforms, which are quite nice. You can detune them. What I think I might do is to stack a few of these individual IAs on the same preset to get a super fat sound, because you can imagine you could have this ever so slightly detuned as a whole from its friend. So you can have a lot of unison going on here, and we'll see how that goes. But that's what I'm doing at the moment. And if you have any ideas of what you want added to it, feel free to contact me, and I hopefully will release the panel at one point. I mean, the most obvious thing missing at the moment is I don't put the overall level of this actual patch, because I've tried to go for a symmetric view. Maybe I can fit it in here or just move it down. I'm not really certain. But anyway, thank you for listening and hope you find this